Hey everyone, it's the Modern Day Nana. Alright, we're back today with another altered book, a junk journal of sorts. And what I have is, I've just got an old book cover from a really old book. It was falling apart. And so I went ahead and took the spine off of the book. So see, it was a pretty narrow spine. I'd say about a ½ inch. Something like that. So we want to make our spine bigger because I wanted to make a bigger book, have more pages in it. So what I did was I decided how big I wanted my spine. Okay, and I went ahead and cut out a piece of cardboard. I went ahead and doubled it. It was pretty thin. I just glued it together. And this is what I'm going to make the spine of my book out of. Okay? Now, we are going to sew our binding. We're going to sew our signatures, our papers into this book. So I went ahead and made a template. I just took and made a piece the same size as the spine. And I decided how many holes I wanted to sew in my signature. So I thought 4 spots would be good. So I've got 3 signatures that I am putting together. And a signature, let me show you. I just kind of have the papers all together. But a signature is when you take your papers and you put them all together and you basically make a booklet. Okay? So then you have a booklet of papers that then you will put in your book. And that's called a signature. I don't have these sorted yet. I was going to do that with you guys. I've got scrapbook paper. I've got some magazine stuff. I've got some music pages, just some random calendar pieces. So we can kind of put those together, but I feel like I'll have room for 3 signatures in my book. So I went ahead and made 3 holes across. Okay? So now I have to decide how I'm going to put this together. And then what I'll do this outside, if I want to leave these, if I want to cover the whole book. And I think I'm just going to go with good old paper tape. And I'm just going to, now I've got packing tape. We can use paper tape. If you had a cloth tape, that would work too. But let's just go ahead and use, what we would have around the house. Okay? And I'm going to leave just a little bit of a gap when I go to tape this because I don't want it to bunch up and not fold properly. I'll show you what I mean. Okay? So can you see that little bit of a gap I left? See the little bit of blue tape? Maybe 1/8 of an inch. Okay? Because see, I want to be able to fold the spine of my book up. So we need a little bit of a gap there. I'm just going to go ahead, let's just do this. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this. And I vote we wrap it a couple times. Once kind of down the middle, and then once on either side. See what I'm saying? Now, we'll determine what we want to do here, and we could do a ton of things. You could cover it in fabric. You could just cover the spine, which I'm thinking maybe we'll do with something. I just got some stuff out I thought would work. This book seemed to, once I got it going, it seemed to want to be kind of a kind of yellow and blue colors. So then I just kind of started pulling stuff out that I thought would work with that. And so that's kind of where this is going. Now, you don't, of course, have to do any certain colors. You can just randomly put together whatever you've got of your junk papers. But I got a bunch of junk papers, so I thought, well, maybe I'll be a little matchy-matchy. But that is purely your prerogative. It doesn't have to be matchy-matchy at all. Okay? And just reinforce that a little bit. I think I'll put a piece on this side. And by the time we get our other things on here, whatever we're covering it with, that'll give it a nice reinforcement too. Okay, so yeah, I feel like a lot of the things can just be stuff you have around your house, like this painter's tape. Okay, so, and that'll serve to get us going. All right, so now I had some, I just opened this. I had this roll of wallpaper I got at the thrift store. So let's see how we would want to do that. If we just want to cut it, or we want to maybe, let's cut it a little bigger in case we want to fold it. And I'm just eyeing it. I'd say I've got about a 1/2 inch. And of course this is real nice wallpaper. You know, I mean, it's got a nice thickness. And pretty sure it's pre-pasted. But who knows how old it is. We're certainly not going to rely on that for our gluing. But yeah, so this is just a great big old, great big old thing of wallpaper that I got at the thrift store. And so, if you see that kind of thing and it's something you like, you can pick it up. Okay, so here will be our inside. And that'll be nice because we can just finish that inside up really nicely. Now the outside, not sure what we want to do there. I've got a piece of old quilt that I've used for different things. It's just an old fallen apart quilt. We could do, we could just cover part of the book, and we could make basically just the spine. That looked pretty cool. I like the idea of keeping, part of the actual book. So if we just covered up the spine, we could do that. Now, I have got, when I go traveling, I'm still old school, so I feel like I have to have an iron. Now, this is just a little travel iron. It's not like a craft iron or anything like that. Okay, it's heating up. Anyway, well, I just want to make this not so wrinkly, right? Isn't this cute? The little hands flip up for it. We could use a little spray bottle of water or something to help it out, but we'll be all right. We'll work with what we got here. So yeah, again, as I've said before, if you have a bag going for the thrift store, or you've got friends or people that are cleaning out. Sometimes you can take, like, this might have been an old shirt or an old skirt. Really not sure, honestly. Could have been just a piece of fabric, but if you have people that do clean out and do donate, let them, ask them if you can have their stuff if you think they've got something like this. So you just kind of have to think outside the box as far as, um, if you're gonna, maybe there's a shirt or like this, a pair of jeans or a sweater, anything like that that you think might work for a craft that you've got coming up. Or okay, I think we're good enough there. Still a little wrinkly, but I feel like the glue will take care of it. Let's just go ahead and cut a piece off. Let me find some decent scissors here. I've been using them all for cutting paper. Bad girl. No, not all of them. Not my, but these. Oh, they're not bad. Okay. All right. So I like this fabric. Okay. And now we can decide. We could. Let's just decide how wide we want it. How much of this we want to cover, and then we can do something with the edges. I want this to go over a bit. Now keep in mind here, I didn't go buy anything or anything like that. We're just using, scraps. Now I do have some Fabri-Tac, but like any kind of fabric glue you can get is nice if you're working with some fabric. And if you don't have, I'm sure it would be fine to use whatever you've got. Now, do we want to make this super neat and fold it? That's gonna add bulk. I'm not sure we want to do that. But we have to remember too, these are all layers we will have to go through to get our book binding done. So, just keep that in mind when you're putting it together. I haven't used this in a while. I might have to get a okay. Make sure I get it wide enough where I put that blue tape. A little too rambunctious with the blue tape, I think. Let's see, maybe we can get it. I'm just smoothing it down with my hand, and there again, I am not looking for perfection, so you be, however you feel about it. If you feel super duper, like you want it super duper neat and super duper perfectly proportioned, then measure it and do that. Okay. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over, and that'll give us a nice security here. But you do want to be concerned about bulk. But this is, just a thin cotton, so I think we'll be okay. Okay. And we can put something on these edges too. We can put something on the edge here. But that's sweet. Okay, now I think what we're going to have to do is make a panel for all three. The front, the back, and the spine. Otherwise, I feel like it's going to get bunchy. And I don't want it to be bunchy. Let's go ahead and give ourselves some sort of measure here. Just kind of roughly, but still. Now you can get out your ruler if you want it to be precise. Okay. So our first bend is going to be right here. It's nice this has lines. They're kind of squiggly, but I think they'll do the job for us. Okay. And then we'll see how long we want it. We want it about to here. Well, I cut that a little wonky, but try to straighten it out a little here. There we go. All right. And we're just going to do this with the other side. And with the spine. And that'll give us a nice inside cover on our book. You could use fabric. Whatever you've got. I think I'll go ahead and cut this because it's right there in that crease and I just don't want the bulk. Okay, so now we're going to have a nice finished inside cover to our book. Okay. It doesn't exactly line up, but you're really not going to see it anyway. Okay. Make sure we can fold it nicely. If you need to, trim a little off. All right. So at this point, let's let that dry a minute. Now we need to get our template that we made, and this is where I want to put my holes. Now, we're going to be able to see, we could cover it up if we want, but we are going to be able to see the threads. The way that we're doing this, we're going to be able to see the threads on the outside of our spine. Okay? But that's totally fine. I like that. Now I put when I did it, and I'll use this when I go to do the signatures, I put a T for top and a B for bottom. Just if there's any discrepancies in the hole size, or, where the holes are at, we don't want to, we don't want to have it real wonky. Alright, now, this is just a little awl, okay? So we can lay our template down and just go ahead and poke through. Can you see it? Okay. Okay. So that way we don't have to be try to be poking through a bunch of things with a needle, because there's just no way. You get a bunch of layers, there's no way you're going to get through them with just a needle. So that is why it's nice to make our template, and you kind of have to, unless you're going to do all books the same size, you kind of have to do this every single time. But, that's no problem. Okay, now, when I did my thread, I made it about, I'm just going to do one signature at a time and then tie it off. I made it about 4 times the length of my book. So 1, right, 2, 3, and then 4. So I made it about 4 times the length of my book. Okay, like I said, I kind of got on a kind of yellow and blue theme. So that's kind of what we're going with here. You don't have to have a theme. You don't have to have a color scheme or anything. And this is not, believe me, not real precise. So I had, okay, now you can just take a piece of scrapbook paper. You can take a piece of regular paper. It doesn't matter. But just decide these are just some old manila envelopes I cut down to size. Just decide how many signatures, so how many little pamphlets you want in your book, and then I went ahead and made these 3 covers. So it's just 2 envelopes, and then this is part of an old Peter, Paul, and Mary songbook, to learn to play. Now, because I didn't have, let's go ahead and glue this, because I didn't have, this was only so big, I didn't have enough for a full front and back, so I just took a piece of scrapbook paper so I could basically have this my cover, right, because I'm going to have 3 signatures, and so that could be the cover of one of my signatures. So for the covers, I decided I need 3 signatures. So for the covers, I've got 1, 2, oh, that one needs to be cut down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 covers for our signatures, and what I did was I just kind of stacked things in like what they were, like if they were scrapbook paper. Okay, so I think I'm just going to take and divide what I've got into 3 piles. Okay, so maybe I'll do like a golden color of scrapbook paper with that one, a golden color with this one, and a golden color with this one. Oh, wait a minute. Here's 3 alike. Okay, so I've got 3 of those. Let's see if we've got 3 sunflower ones alike. And if we don't, no biggie. I'm just saying, I'm going to spread them out if we do. Okay, let me see. Blue. There's a blue one, there's a blue one, and there's a blue one. Let me see. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so each signature should have about the same amount of pages in it. So we have our cover. And I probably want to go kind of like a yellow, and then a blue, and then maybe something writing, like a page or a magazine page, something like that. Maybe one of these writing pages that you could just write on. There's a magazine page I liked. Here's a musical. Here's this clear plastic one. Okay, yeah, and just randomly put them in here. But we just want them all sandwiched in together. See how I'm putting each one of them, making a booklet out of it, so they're being sandwiched into where when you open it up, it's a booklet. Okay, I'm just trying to make it, kind of random, but yet where now this is just a calendar page, and what I was thinking, if you have something like a spread, you can put it in the middle of your book. See what I mean? So when you open it up, this will be the middle of the book. So let's do that. And what else have we got? Kind of needed to do that with this one too. So what do we end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We won't really count that one. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That is a plenty. Okay, so we have 21 in our first signature. We can cut that down in a little bit. Okay, so I think I'll just go ahead and go in and cut the ones down. I might have to be a little more careful on ones if they've got sayings or something on them, because I don't want to mess up the where you can't see the saying. Okay guys, so while we've got our pages out, let's go ahead and do a few techniques anyway, okay, so that we get that done before we bind them. Now this was just a, it's just a magazine piece that I liked. I liked all the colors. So let's see if we can put that up a little. I was thinking I just had some yellow tissue paper. So I was thinking we could just kind of put some tissue paper over this. I think we could write on it even after we do that. But it's best if you can, at least partially, get your some of your embellishments done before you bind your pages into your book. Let's see, I might have to get a needle. Oh, there we go. And I think I'm just going to crinkle this up. I'm not even going to try to smooth it out and make it flat. We'll just kind of crinkle it up on here to give it an effect, and then let it dry, okay? Now this is just a single ply. And I'm just going to kind of lay it down over it, and, well, that's not crinkling up too much. We could crinkle it up if we wanted, but it will some. So I'll just cut this off and we'll just let this dry. And that'll give us a nice colorful page that then we can do something with later, right? But at least this kind of preps your page before you get it in the book. That way you don't have to mess with the seams and that kind of stuff, because you already have the page done, and we can just bind the page in, and voila, we'll have a page ready to go if we want to play with it and put something on it. And you can still see the stuff underneath. That's okay. You know, no biggie. Okay? So there's that. Oh, I was going to show you too. I'm not sure if I have before. You can just take any napkin. Okay? Now, let's find yourself a page that we could cover in a napkin. Let's cover the back of this calendar page, okay? Now, when you're doing, the only thing for sure you need to do when you're doing a napkin is you need to get it down to one ply, okay? Because if you don't, when you go to stick it down, it's going to pull up because you've got several plies. This is what I do. I just take just a piece of whatever kind of tape, doesn't matter, and go in and, well, usually it'll grab that layer. This one only has 2 plies. Sometimes napkins have 3 plies. Now, if you want to keep this, ply, you know, just fold it up and put it with your tissue paper. And then you have your napkin to work with. I'm just going to do the same thing I did. I'm just using this school glue. That's just what I have on hand. Certainly don't need the fabric glue that we've used earlier. We just want to stick this down. And like I said, if it gets wrinkly or something, no biggie. But, and I do have a stash of napkins. So that's fun to pull them out. And, you know, see what you've got that'll work with the project you're doing. And it just gives it an extra little something. You know, cover up some of that we might not want to see, like the back of this calendar page. Okay, so we did a tissue paper one. Out of just tissue paper, and we did a napkin one. Let's take this one. We're just taking it out of our signature that we were making. Okay, so if we want to do the side that's pretty, let's see what we've got. Now what we could do is we could take, and this was just a piece off of a calendar. We could just ruffle it up if we wanted to by hand. See, I'm just folding it. Like, kind of like you would fold a fan. You know, if you were making like a paper fan, you could do something like that. And then we could cut this down. And that might be a cute ruffle on our page. Something like that, and then you could put something over it. I think that's a little wide, so we could just cut that in half. We could glue that down and make a ruffle across the top of our page. And, you know, this is just junk stuff, guys, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Let's just do that just for funsies. We'll just glue this down. Okay? And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to cover the whole page, any of it. You know, just, I'm going to stick a little underneath here, otherwise it's not going to stick down. And see, this is where your book starts getting thicker because you're putting more embellishments in it. Okay? Let me see. Where's my little... Well, I can't find it. No biggie. Okay. So let's see what we've got here. And like I said, these are probably just pieces of clothes. Just a piece of, who knows what. Who knows what this was. Could have been a sheet. Could have been a top. Let's just rip it. Okay. And then if we wanted to, we could gather it up a little bit, although you wouldn't have to. But I've got needle and thread right here. Whoa, this is super thick, guys. Must be a quilting. Here, let's get this thinner. Doesn't matter what color it is. Really. I mean, if you want to coordinate, this just happens to be what I have sitting here. I'm going to go ahead and double my thread and just put a knot on the end. Okay? And then I'm just going to start at one end. And I'm just going to put a stitch in it. And then I'm just going to do a running stitch. Just a real loose in, out. I'm kind of doing down the middle of it, out. Okay, just in and out. I'll probably go ahead and do the whole strip. Or we can kind of look at it when we get partially done and see what we need to use. But literally anything, any old strips of lace, strips of paper, strips of fabric, yarn, any fun yarns you have, anything to put some decorations. See how long that running stitch is? I mean, my only goal in this is to gather it together so I can glue it down to my page. Now, I have made journals where I sewed embellishments together and then sewed them into the book. And, you know, we could do that sometime. But some people don't like to sew, or, you know, this is their extent of their sewing, just a needle and thread. So you certainly don't have to have a sewing machine to get in here and make some really cute. Maybe I will use the Fabri-Tac for this. It's already got some glue on it, but let's go ahead and see why it's nice to do this before you get it in the book. can't even hardly see the yellow underneath, but you can kind of. So there's one idea. Okay, and then if you wanted to, right, you could put a little piece of something right here to cover that up. Got the chenille yarn. Just to give you an idea, let's go ahead and do a piece of it. But see how you can start getting thick pretty quickly if you do something like this to every page. So, and the key to that is randomly switch it up. Do something to a top page, do something to a bottom page, you know, the side, something like that. And then that way you can switch it up and it won't be like all bulky in the same spot. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to finish up for this afternoon, and we'll wrap it up next week on Monday, and we will go ahead and do some embellishing. We've got these 3 signatures now, so we'll do some embellishing before we sew them into our book, okay? And then that way it will be a little easier to do that. It looks like I'm quite a bit over, but I'm going to leave it for right now. We'll see how it tucks in here, but we'll do that next Monday. I'll be back Friday with another video on, I'm not sure yet. We're going to have to start working on my son and to-be daughter-in-law's wedding. So maybe I'll get some stuff together and we'll start working on that, okay? So like and subscribe. I'll see you Friday with a video, a craft video, and then I'll see you back Monday, and we will embellish these signatures that we made. We've got 3 of them, and we will sew these into our book and finish up our cover, whatever we're going to do, and we'll have a super nice book to journal in, okay? All right, so like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. It's the Modern Day Nana. Bye.